All right, good morning, Algebra 2. We're on our very last set of notes for the year. We're moving on to parabolas. So I have my parabola notes here. If you don't have the parabola notes printed out, that's okay. Just grab out your math journal and that'll be fine too. We're going to be looking at parabolas. Now, you are probably familiar with the vertical parabola, right? You've seen that plenty of times where your x is squared. We're just going to be writing it a little bit differently. We're going to be writing it in standard form. So this is what the vertical standard form of your parabola looks like. And we're going to be adding to your knowledge a horizontal standard form. So notice the difference between the equations that we have been looking at. Biggest difference between this is that only one value is squared. In your vertical, your x value is squared. In your horizontal, your y value is squared. So notice that that's going to tell you whether it opens up or down or whether it opens right or left. So pay attention to that. We also have some other things here. So notice your HK is your vertex, right? So HK is your vertex in both functions or equations. And then notice here, we still have a focus, but we have this other thing here called a directrix. So this p-value is the distance from the vertex to your focus. No vertices this time. So notice, or we have a vertex, but we don't have a center. Notice that p, this p-value, is the distance from your vertex to your focus and also the distance from your vertex to your directrix, okay? So your focus is going to be inside your parabola, where your directrix is the line outside your parabola. So it is a line, your directrix is a line. So a couple of notes there. So directrix is a line and your focus is a point. So keep that in mind as we're going through these examples. All right, so some things here just to help how to find your focus, how to find your directrix, and then we have our axis of symmetry, which is the vertical or horizontal line that goes directly through your vertex that can fold your parabola on top of itself, okay? So it's a mirror, so it creates that mirror line. All right, let's look at this. We have to find our direction, right? So either it's up or down or right or left, our vertex, our focus, and directrix. All right, so let's look at this. We have x squared equals 4y. So I'm going to look back at my standard form. Okay, x squared, I know it's going to open up or down. This is a positive number here in front of our y, so we know that it's going to open up. Now I want to know what my vertex is. I don't have any numbers next to my x or my y, so my vertex is going to be 0, 0. That's nice, right? And then I need to know my focus and my directrix. So let's take a look at this. To find my focus, it's 4 times p. So 4p equals 4 in this case. So I want to find p. P is the length from my focus to the vertex, or my directrix to the vertex. So it looks like p is 1. So if it opens up, my focus is inside. So let's graph it and then we'll kind of see, right? So my focus here is going to be up. So it's going to be 1 space away from my vertex up. So it's going to be 0, 1. And then my directrix is going to be 1 space down, except it's a line, remember? So it's going to look like this, and it's dashed. So my directrix is going to be y equals -1. Notice your focus is a point, your directrix is a line. All right, so now I want to plot some points here. You can use Desmos to do this, or you can just use a table. If I plug in 1 squared is 1, divided by 4 is 1/4. So it's going to look like, it's going to be kind of fat. All right, And there we go. There is your parabola. All right, let's look at the next one when we don't have a center at 0, 0. So I'm going to see first, does it open up or down or right or left? My x squared is still, my x is the squared value. So I know that it's going to open up or down. It's a vertical parabola. And my number here, my 4p, is a negative number, so I know it opens down. My vertex is 5, negative 3. Remember, opposite values there. And then I want to know what my focus and my directrix are. So I need to know this p-value. So 4p in this case equals negative 20. It's always that number here, right? So 4p equals negative 20. Divide by 4, and we get p equals negative 5. So the length should be 5. The length of my focus is negative 5. So that means we're going down 5, right? So let's plot this, and then we can find our point. So my vertex is 5, negative 3. A different color just so it can be fun. So 5, negative 3, 1, 2, 3 is here. My focus is down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then my directrix is up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's a line, right? We know it goes up and down, or down, faces down. All right, so my focus point is 5, 3, 8, 5, negative 8. And my directrix is y equals 2. All right, and we know it opens down this way. So we can kind of see, okay, what is my value here? All right, looking at some points on my Desmos here, I pulled it up just so I could get some other points. 0, negative 4.25. And then same thing over here. So negative 4.25. All right, so that kind of tells us how wide our graph is. All right. So that is up and down. I'm going to let you do the horizontal. They're the same thing. Now we're going to move to the back to look at writing the equation of the parabola in standard form and identify the direction, vertex, focus, and directrix. So let's look at this. We have x squared minus 6x plus 3y plus 18. So first I want to know, does it open up, down, right, or left? It opens up and down. So I'm going to put this on one side, this x squared minus 6x, and I'm going to move the other stuff to the other side, equals negative 3y plus 18. Now I will have to complete the square here. So we're going to say x squared minus 6x plus some other number equals, I'm going to factor out this negative 3. Well, let's wait. Negative 3y plus 18 plus some other number. All right, so I know that it's going to be 9 here. So I'm going to add a 9. Write this as a factored form, x minus 3 and x minus 3 equals negative 3y plus 27. Now let's write this as a squared binomial, x minus 3 squared. And I'm going to factor out this 3. If I factor out a negative 3, this becomes y minus 9, right? All right, so this kind of tells us some information. Now here's our standard form. So we know it opens down. Why does it open down? Because this number here is negative. We want to find our vertex, which we have it in standard form, so that's good for us. It's positive 3, positive 9. And then my focus and directrix are dependent upon that. I had to focus on how to spell that. Are dependent on our p-value, right? So we know 4p equals negative 3. So we need to figure out what our length is. So our length of p is negative 3/4. Since I know it opens down, I'm going to be subtracting from 9 to get my focus. So my focus is going to be 3 and 8.25, right? Because I subtracted. And then my directrix I'm adding because it's going to be on the other side, and it's going to be a y equals 9.75. All right, let's move to this one here, because I want to make sure to do a horizontal one with you. We haven't done a horizontal one yet. All right, so same thing, but I'm noticing that it's going to open right or left. So let's see. We'll do the same thing, y squared plus 4y. And I'm going to put everything else on the other side, negative 8x plus 12. So now let's complete our square, y squared plus 4y plus some other number equals negative 8x plus 12 plus that completing the squared number. Now I know it's 4, so I'm going to add 4 there, and I'm going to add 4 there. Let's write it as factored form. Y plus 2 equals negative 8x plus 16. Write this as a squared binomial, looking a little bit better. And I'm going to factor out the 8, and we get an 8x minus 2. Not too shabby, right? So this is negative, so it's going to open left. It's going to look like this, right? That's opening left. All right, vertex, gotta identify that. Notice x value, y value, always stays with your x and y. So we have a 2 and a negative 2 for our vertex. Our focus and our directrix are dependent. Every time I gotta think about how to spell it, are dependent on our 4p. P is the length from the vertex to the focus and directrix. So if 4p equals negative 8, then p equals negative 2. So if I know that it opens left, it's going to affect my x value. So I'm going to do 2 minus 2 gets my focus value, which is 0. And then 2 plus 2 gets my directrix, and we know that it's going to be x equals this time. So x equals 4. All right, so there's a horizontal one. And it helps to know whether you're finding the focus or directrix, whichever way it's opening up or down or right or left. All right, let's look at this. Write the equation of a parabola whose focus is negative 2, 1, and whose directrix is x equals 6. All right, so this is crazy, right? Well, let's look at our last one. We know it opens right or left because this is an x equals line. So if we think about this on your coordinate plane, that'll help us to visualize it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's our directrix right there. And our focus is negative 2, 1. So it's right here. So I know that my vertex is between my focus and my directrix. So I want to know the midpoint of my focus and my directrix between negative 2 and negative 6, right? So it's negative 4, 1. So our vertex is negative 4, 1. And we need to go ahead and write our, and we need to know our p-value, don't we? Well, what's the length between, if our vertex is negative 4, the length between our focus and our vertex is 2, right? Because it's negative 4. We know negative 4 was in between negative 2 and negative 6. And so that middle value is 4. So the distance between negative 2 and negative 4 is just 2. So p is 2. All right, let's plug this in. So we have, since I know that it's going to look like this because it opens right and left, it actually opens right. We are going to say that y minus 1 squared equals 4 times p, 2, times x plus 4. All right. So we have y minus 1, I'm just going to simplify this, equals 8 times x plus 4. Now we can always plug it into our graph, make sure that we're right. All right, here's what I got so far. Okay, so is my vertex here at -4, 1? It is. And I want to know if I have a p-value of 2, my focus was at -2, 1, and my directrix was at -6. So this is what your parabola should look like, opening right. All right, nice job. I want you to do letter D on your own, and I will see you in class for our last live class.